Hey everybody, welcome to Squatch Talk. I'm Pat. How's everybody doing tonight? Thanks for being here. Appreciate each and every single one of you. All right, so let's jump right in. Like a couple of years ago, it was 2 years ago, 2023. Uh, you know, my buddy Jeff Harding, like he came out with a warning, and he was saying, "Man, AI and AI video is just going to make it basically his argument was it's just going to make it impossible to like sort through what's real or not, like with Bigfoot stuff. Now, he put it in the context of Bigfoot stuff. We could take that discussion way further down the line than that. Um Obviously, we'll get to that. Um but with the Bigfoot subject, his whole point was, like there ain't no video that's gonna ever prove Bigfoot because of AI. And at the time, I'm about to show you um, what AI video was pretty absurd. It was a bad nightmare, like bad dream kind of stuff. And I was like, nah, I don't see that happening soon. And so I disagreed with him publicly. I think maybe we even got into that discussion, maybe mixed it up a little bit on a show. I don't know if it was my show or somebody else's show, but I remember, I seem to remember a little tit for tat there between me and Jeff with this whole like AI video thing. And of course, I guess I have to admit, since I'm here to do the I was wrong thing, I have to admit at the time, a lot of that was probably had to do with my entire 20-year idea of how to find and film a Sasquatch, get observations. Because like observations, oh, Jeff's here. What's up, man? Like I might will bring you in. I kind of got some plans, but I might bring you in, dude. So Jeff's here. Um, Again, like I had this 20-year plan, that started off with helicopters and thermal imaging and all this stuff. Um, and so I might have had like a little cherished sort of like holding on to my idea that's like, no, Jeff, you can't take this away from me. And here's why, you know, like you're wrong, dude. AI video, it's not going to man, it's not going to be anything anytime soon because look at it. Look at it now. So check the tape. Let's check the tape. That's what we do here. Um, we check the tape, and I got a lot of tabs open here. So, god dang it, which one? Where's the one I need right now? This one. Okay. Um, so let's check the tape. At the time, this was 2023, 2 years ago. And I'm like, nah, man, AI video, it's not going to be anything, anytime soon. Like you're just wrong, man. And again, I believe there was some tit for tat that happened there at some point. Anyway, I'm trying to be humble. At the time, this was the nightmare AI video that was happening.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot. Uncle Phil, come try this. Fresh pasta of Bel Air. Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
All right. um, get rid of that. Stop screen. Okay. Pretty lame, right? Like that was again, it was like a bad dream or something. Just I'm looking at that going, what the hell? And then and so I'm projecting again, like with bias, because I've been holding on to this visual observation dream for 20 years almost. So I maybe I was being delusional. Uh maybe like it and I'm like, no, it's gonna be way further out than that, dude. Way further out. And then, like this, so this dropped a couple of days ago. Um, sorry, I got no producers today. Not today. Um, so we're gonna pick this. We're gonna hit share. It's gonna take us click on it. All right. Oh wait, I have to produce
Spring. Now listen, watch this.
this.
I trained those campers real good. Next knock's gonna send them running. They'll think it's a summoning sign. Maybe they'll even sit in it.
Amateurs.
Let's see how long it takes them to notice. Nice try, fellas. But put it facing Akmaishi outhouse log. Next time, hide it better.
I give them just one blurry frame, then poof. Keeps the mystery alive, you know? They'll be halfway to the parking lot before they catch their breath.
They'll photograph this like it's proof of the century. I carved it from maple. Fits 27. Taught them that last spring. Now listen, watch this.
Man, dude, that is good.
I trained those campers real good. Next knock's gonna send them running.
They'll think it's a summoning sign. Maybe they'll even sit in it.
Amateurs.
Let's see how long it takes them to notice.
So that dropped 2 or 3 days ago, I think. And I mean, obviously it's real. So flip the script, Jeff. I'm not wrong. That's real footage. You are the one that's wrong. I mean, dude. I mean, so I'm pretty sure that came from VO3, which just dropped like I said, like a few days ago. And of course, no one, not even the most staunch Bigfooter, is gonna actually, uh, you know, think that that is real. Um, because I mean, it was funny as hell. Like, I love the next knock's gonna send the run. Like, it's beautiful. So yeah, like no one's gonna think that's like real Bigfoot, but look how good it looks. It there were some glitches. There were some glitches in it. The some of it wasn't synced, very well, but like expressions on the face and stuff. But it was funny as hell, and it looked really good, and it looked light years from, Will Smith eating spaghetti like Bad Nightmare. So, and then we have this. We have this. So this is where things really get crazy. Things really go off the rails, and this is also VO3. VEO, the number 3, the latest video AI to drop from Google, which is expensive as hell. I think it's this. Yes. Okay. Yes, it is. Oh my God. So, like, the Bigfoot thing was funny and it looked really good, but this is mind blowing. This is the part where I say, Jeff, you were right. I was wrong. You you were right, and I was freaking wrong, man. Because I had no idea that this would be. I don't think anybody really did, but whatever. That this would be our freaking video AI just 2 short years later. I mean, look at it already, and I promise you, what you're about to see, it's also funny because they are NPCs. They're NPCs. These are not people. This is AI. So it's not a reverse like joke or anything, man. These are not people. This is all, and it is funny too. So let me go into the tab. Here we go.
What do you think about the idea that we're just a bunch of prompts?
If I'm generated from a prompt, how come I don't have 6 fingers?
Some people say we're just AI created via some thoughts.
If I'm just a prompt, mine clearly said add anxiety and a caffeine addiction.
Are we all just computer generated PCs created by our prompt engineering overlords? No.
If that's the case, they definitely skimped on the tokens for me.
Are we real or AI?
I mean, I really can't tell the difference, can you?
Yeah, if you can't tell either, then we're so cooked.
Man. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna play that one again. Just watch it again.
What do you think about the idea that we're just a bunch of prompts?
If I'm generated from a prompt, how come I don't have 6 fingers?
Some people say we're just AI, some simple prompts. Thoughts?
If I'm just a prompt, mine clearly said add anxiety and a caffeine addiction.
Are we all just computer generated NPCs created by prompt engineering overlords? No.
If that's the case, they definitely skimped on the tokens for me.
Are we real or AI?
I mean, I really can't tell the difference, can you?
Yeah, if you can't tell either,
Like, she's
then
cute.
we're so cooked.
She's cute. The redhead's fucking adorable. Like, what? So, I'm sorry, man, but that's pretty crazy. And when this all dropped, I guess it was 3 days ago, maybe 4. You know, like, and I've seen good video AI, even last year, leading up to this, and so I already kind of knew, Jeff's right. Like, Jeff was right. I already knew that, but what I just played, the PCs talking about, no PD cam, today. I didn't feel like much, but he's being a little weird. Like I said, like, the redhead's really, oh my God, that's not real. That girl's not even real. It's pretty impressive. So yeah, I was like, okay, I've already been thinking about, like, for several, like, many months over the past year. I was like, at some point, I'm gonna have to. I remember that little tit for tat with Jeff, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and, like, just concede the fact that I was wrong. You know, and again, not to make excuses. I know why I wanted a video to not be so, like, good, is because, like, my whole thing with discovering an undiscovered upright walking primate it's completely based in like filmed observations, everything. Like, all I, you know, that's all I got. And so now, we're here. Now, obviously, like the weird the big the whole Bigfoot thing with the wood knock, and he's messing, talk about messing with campers and stuff like that. Like that'll never fly is the thing, but um somebody was clever and they had the right prompts to put, into the AI programming. They could do something that's like not this like crappy blob squatch thing, but let's just say like 5 times better than the Patterson Gimlin film. You know, I think that's the sweet spot for kind of like trying to use AI to cook something. So it's like you can't make it too convincing, like you're shaking hands with Bigfoot, but you also can't make it, blob squatchy, right? So some would, they would still have to be very clever in how they kind of work the prompt and created the. But it is coming. Like people will try. Maybe they'll fail. Maybe somebody will hit that button and succeed. Um, but I still say, and I could be wrong about this too. I'm just going to preface it with that is that, you know, if you have a real filmed observation and say, like in my case, the way to do that is from a drone, that's, 1,000 times power kind of situation. Like that's how you get a filmed observation. Say you did it and it's actually real, then I mean you do have a lot of world things in your favor to sort of push back against any idea that it's AI, which would be the metadata that is encrypted into the device, the proprietary stuff, the SIM card, all that shit, basically proving that you know this was filmed, right? Like this, what the real camera captured. And again, there might be some pushback to that somehow you could fake that. I haven't found a way to that I'm trying to fake it, but I haven't found how that could be faked. And we may check with some experts here in a little while to go. But you have that, and again, I'm talking a real film, and then on top of it, you have a geolocation. So again, a real camera films a real Bigfoot. You have the metadata and you have a real geolocation. So I don't know, send in some like professionals, wildlife biologists to comb the area. If there's biological evidence of an undiscovered primate left behind, they'll find it. That's for sure. So there are ways that you could actually film a Bigfoot and prove that it's not just AI. And given like that I'm admitting I was wrong about my opinions 2 years ago, there still are telltale signs for what like AI stuff is. I'd say there's more telltale signs for what AI is. And of course this could change 6 months from now or even 6 weeks. Versus like reality. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not here to make excuses. But I want to like finally sort of confront that because this whole VO3 thing that like dropped the other day, man. It's so mind blowing. It's very impressive. And be used for so many cool things too. But like you could make your own little Marvel trailer, but yeah. So Jeff was right. I was wrong. My video got there pretty much in the time frame that he said it would. So yeah, I guess let's move on from there. Do I have any? No. Okay. No. Yeah. Okay. Cool. None of that. Hey everybody, welcome to chat. Thanks for being here. So I got this other thing I want to go over. Meldrum stuff. So I'm gonna play. Meldrum was on a podcast recently. It was a non Bigfoot channel, which is always my favorite. Like anything I see from Meldrum these days, like pretty much exclusively, the only stuff I will watch that Meldrum is like speaking on the only stuff I'll watch is if it's a non Bigfoot podcast. So he was on one recently, and I wanted to take a couple of clips and sort of go over them and sort of opine in real time. Something I've always wanted to do, and so I picked Meldrum to do it about. And so again, I have to dive in here to the whole. Okay, it's not that. It's not the thing. It is a decent one. All right, so let's go ahead and share. And all right, so let's go. So I'm just gonna kind of opine as it unfolds, and then I might rewind a little bit and go forward a little bit. We'll see.
Okay, reader. Well, I first for a year or two now have suggested that I think the 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 two lines of investigation that will take us to the next step beyond the game trail cameras and the hair snags and so forth and parabolic.
He says parabolic dishes. So game cameras, hair snags, whatever that is, that think they find Bigfoot hair, and parabolic dishes, so which does nothing but, you know, find sound that's distorted by the time it reaches the dish. Done nothing. Nothing. Except entertain people. They've done that, but it proved nothing.
Dishes. One is drone technology, aerial survey with thermal. And if we get to the point where, I talk to people regarding military.
Okay, so he says drone survey combined with thermal. I'm not sure what he means there. I think my interpretation of that is thermal drones, not anything else. Not like combining drones, boots on the ground, and people that have binoculars, or And again, like the whole thing with drones. I mean, you say survey, yeah, that's the way you would kind of have to do it, unless somebody actually knew where Bigfoot was. So to look look in a certain area, let's just say a 10 square mile area, you could look in a 10 square, if somebody knew where Bigfoot was in a 10 square mile area, you'd find him in a night, one night, easily. Couple hours it would only take. The problem is that nobody actually knows where Bigfoot is. They may not be there at all. So there's a lot of square miles of nothingness to to survey. But anyway, let's see where he goes from here.
Abilities and even satellite imaging. There was one fellow who he said, if we could make a case and provide the funding, he said, there with the right contacts, you might be able to retask a satellite to fly over particular areas. And I said, but do you have the penetrance? Could you? And he said to me, Jeff, I fly over your house on a Saturday morning and tell you what brand of cornflakes you were eating at the kitchen table.
That's mostly untrue. Like you're not gonna get access to military satellites to go look for Bigfoot. That's not gonna happen. Good luck getting access to any satellite. Like any satellite. Not saying it couldn't be done, but the idea of looking for Bigfoot with satellites, anybody in the Bigfoot world, even Meldrum, is just kind of silly. And he's kind of being, again, this is anecdote from him that is like it's kind of getting exaggerated. That's kind of my take.
Right. Yeah, and it just reminded me of this scene in one of the James Bond movies where the satellite and James Bond rolls off the girl he was covering on the bed through several stories of the building, and so I don't see that happening anytime in the foreseeable future, really, quite honestly.
Correct.
But another possible combination with drone surveys is LiDAR.
Oh, sure.
So instead of exposing pyramids and viaducts and so forth in Central America, you could conceivably fly your drone and
Absolutely not true. That's not how LiDAR works. LiDAR with drones is a very long process. And it's only one very specific area. I'm just gonna say off the top of my head, like maybe 10 acres. It would be like a typical LiDAR mission because it's always very specific to a very specific area for a very specific purpose. Um, And so Bigfoot would have to be like within that 10 acres in that moment. And with LiDAR, you don't really get you get a lot of detail from a lot of things, but what you lose is detail from like anything an animal. You don't really like you're not gonna see even like deer or elk or a bear, maybe a weird pixelated signature. But looking for Bigfoot with LiDAR is just, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, there's no reality to that. You might as well just put a trail cam up. If you think that Bigfoot's going to be in this like 10-acre, roughly speaking, area, then just go put your 30 trail cams up in that area. You have better luck with that than you would LiDAR. So no, that's not the right technology. Absolutely not.
and actually identify individual animals, especially on the scale of a Sasquatch versus a bear versus an elk or a deer.
Not how
And so I've talked to a few techs, and that they're really close to that level of resolution. He said, "I wouldn't. We're not confident about being there yet, but."
there.
And I was very forthcoming, identifying what I was. He says,
Well, I don't know what went wrong there. uh, yeah. So 5:57, 3 minutes, roughly 3 or 4 minutes. I was gone. Hmm. Oh well. That sucks. So I have no idea, like how far in that was. Did I pause it? Yeah, I did. Okay. About 3 minutes. Not too bad. Well, Meldrum, like keep happening. Like Meldrum was talking about how he saw the movie Tarzan and decided he didn't want to, that killing a Bigfoot was wrong. I'm like, you get your more like moral, your moral, like not even morals, like realistic stance on killing a Bigfoot or not because of a Disney plot. Like that's kind of weird, man. Um, very strange. Um, it's kind of like saying like I don't deer because I saw the movie Bambi. That's why I don't hunt deer. Like really, that's why you don't hunt deer is because of Bambi. Eh. Um. Jeez. So I don't know. Very strange, but sorry about that. I apologize. I don't know what dropped. Right, Meldrum. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, whatever. Uh, thing, Bigfoot is very strange to me. Like, really, it's a no brainer. Although I understand like the irresponsible uh, talk that is because I damn sure don't trust any Bigfooter out in the woods with a gun, the intention of killing one, because almost 100%, really, the only thing that's going to come out of that is they kill a person or hurt a person. Like, but like there are plenty of people in this world that would kill a Bigfoot if they happened upon one and were armed in the right way. And I say the right way, really all it takes like that'll put down the Bigfoot. Like no problem. Like again, the narrative says otherwise. I understand that. The narrative says no gun big enough. Nah, 12 gauge will do it. Especially like a tactical one, semi-automatic tact gauge. You know, like that would be easy kill actually. Um, so it's kind of weird to me that hasn't happened yet. Like some, well, it's not hard to miss with a fucking 12 gauge, man. Like center mass. I mean, aren't these things? These things are like 8 feet tall, big, wide, big headed things, right? Aren't their eyes this far apart? Like pretty easy to hit all that with a shotgun. So 12-year-old could do it, honestly. But a grown man certainly could do it, especially one that's shot shit before, shot things, and knows how to use his 12 gauge. Like, two to the chest, one to the head, game over. That thing's on the ground. Dying or dead. So, anyway, Moving on. I don't know what's like going on here. 2 hours. Okay. So let's have some fun. The AI thing. And bring this up. Oopsie. Yeah, man, my Wi-Fi signal seems to be low. All right, let's have some fun here with AI. Yeah, well, you're on the no. You're on the show. Well, you know what we're talking about, right?
In whenever you are.
Oh, I keep forgetting. All right, let's go over that again. What do we talk about?
We're here to talk about AI and Bigfoot, then a bit about Jeff Meldrum, and after that, I'll be answering and tackling some hypotheticals. Ready to dive in whenever you are.
Let's talk Bigfoot. First things. Um,
All right, let's dive in. What aspect of Bigfoot do you want to kick things off with?
realist.
The sightings, the theories, or maybe some of the more famous evidence?
So let's stick to reality and what's known and what's not known in science. So, in theory, if there were an undiscovered upright walking primate living in North America in 2025, what kind of population realistically be talking about?
That's a great question. If we were to entertain the idea of an undiscovered upright walking mate like Bigfoot in 2025, science would suggest that it would need a viable population large enough to sustain itself, meaning a breeding population with enough genetic diversity. Typically, a population of just a few individuals wouldn't be sustainable long term. To survive, we'd likely be talking about a population of at least several hundred, probably spread across a wide area to maintain that genetic diversity. If Bigfoot were a real undiscovered species, it would likely be living in remote, sparsely populated forests or mountainous regions where human interaction is minimal. Given the vastness of places like the Pacific Northwest, parts of Canada, or even remote parts of the Appalachian Mountains, there could theoretically be pockets of Bigfoot like creatures that are difficult to detect. However, the problem is that such a population would also need food sources, and the signs of their presence, like nests, remains, or observable behavior, would be harder to hide in today's world of modern technology. With so much surveillance and increased exploration, it's curious that there hasn't been more concrete evidence of that size. What do you think? Does this sound reasonable for an undiscovered primate in North America?
Yes, most of that is actually very spot on. But I would say I'll also ask this.
Glad to hear that. It's
Okay.
definitely a fascinating scenario to think about. The challenges of maintaining such a population without being detected are huge, especially when you factor in modern technology and our knowledge of ecosystems. If Bigfoot were real, it'd be a truly elusive species. What do you think about the evidence we have so far? Are there any sightings or pieces of evidence particularly intriguing?
Okay, if it's an elusive species, which you are correct, it would be. Thank you. If it's so elusive, how can there be so much narrative wrapped around Bigfoot activity around campsites? Isn't that a contradiction?
That's a really good point. The narrative around Bigfoot activity near campsites and populated areas does seem to contradict the idea of an elusive species. If Bigfoot were as stealthy as many believe, it would be less likely to reveal itself in such public spaces, especially where people are actively observing and investigating. One possibility is that people tend to exaggerate or misinterpret sounds, shadows, or movement in the woods,
What?
especially when they're camping or in a heightened state of alertness. Campfires, the crackling of leaves, and the natural sounds of wildlife can play tricks on people, making them believe they're hearing or seeing not. The mind also tends to fill in blanks when faced with the unknown. But there's also the chance that is a highly adaptive species. It could be that it sometimes does approach these areas for food, territorial reasons, or curiosity. Maybe it stays hidden at the edges of campsites, observing the human activity, and then retreats quickly. Still, it raises the question, if Bigfoot is truly an elusive species, why would it risk these interactions with human campsites? Maybe it's just that the lore around these experiences adds to the mystery, making it seem more likely than it actually is. What's your take on it? Do you think there's any validity to the idea of Bigfoot approaching campsites? Or is it more of a narrative woven around human imagination?
It's definitely a people thing. Not to say it maybe never happened, but not to Bigfooters, not to the people that are sitting around a campfire hoping that Bigfoot shows up. I mean, what are the odds? Let me ask you this, calculate these odds for me. In a 1,500 square mile area, let's say there's 3 Bigfoot, and somebody sets up one campsite in that 1,500 square mile area. What are the odds that they would be within hearing distance of a Bigfoot?
The odds of a Bigfoot being within hearing distance of a campsite in a 1,500 square mile area, assuming it's within half a mile of the campsite, would be about 0.05%. This shows that, given the size of the area, the likelihood of a Bigfoot being close enough to hear the campsite is extremely low, making it highly unlikely for someone to encounter Bigfoot just by setting up camp in that vast space. What do you think of those odds? Does that match your expectations?
I think those odds are pretty much what my expectations were. I would put those odds even lower than that, but I'll take your 0.05%.
Yeah, I agree. Given how vast that area is
Well,
and
that's
how stealthy Bigfoot would need to be, the odds might even be smaller than what we calculated. With a species so elusive, they'd likely avoid humans entirely, further decreasing the chance of being in hearing range. It's interesting, though, that despite the odds, so many people report encounters. A mix of factors. Some misidentifications, some folklore, and maybe the occasional real rare encounter.
like I said, it's a people thing. Um, so I had questions actually. Let's see. What other questions did I have? Um, how how easy or difficult
Take your
would it?
time. If any questions come to mind, yeah, we can dive deeper into Bigfoot or shift to anything else you're curious about, hypotheticals, more science based stuff, or even AI in research.
Okay.
Let me know what you're thinking.
Yeah. Here's what I'm thinking. How or easy would it be to create a convincing footprint with fingers and hands, like artistic?
That's an interesting question. Creating a convincing Bigfoot footprint is actually easier than most people think, especially with today's materials.
All right, too many windows open. I think is the problem. All right, where are you at? Come back. Uh, sorry. Yeah, I have too many windows open. And hey, listen, you people in here like talking shit, like stop it. You don't like just you don't come here. And just, yeah, yes, yes. Only yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my god, this is fucking. So all right, so I got bumped off the air. Um, no, we're back live again. Do you know? Let me ask you this. Okay. Do you know what podcast you're on right now?
All sorts of interesting topics. What's next on the agenda for this episode?
Like I keep forgetting to add it to screen. All right, I'm going to ask you again. I'm sorry. I apologize. Do you know what podcast you're on right now?
No problem at all. Yes, I know. I'm on Squatch Talk right now, talking with you about Bigfoot and all things related. Ready for the next question?
Yes. So, what do you think would be? I'm just going to
What's
say that.
next? I'm
Okay.
ready when you are.
Okay, here I come. What do you think would be the two best
I'm here.
ways?
What's up next?
Okay. What would be the two best ways to discover Bigfoot?
The two best ways to discover Bigfoot would likely be 1. Scientific expedition with technology, using advanced tools like thermal imaging cameras, drones, motion sensors, and sound recording devices would significantly increase the chances of detecting Bigfoot. These tools could help locate heat signatures, track movement through forests, and capture sounds from areas that are difficult to access. The use of these technologies in areas with frequent sightings could provide concrete evidence without relying solely on eyewitness. 2. DNA evidence. One of the most convincing ways to confirm Bigfoot's existence would be through DNA analysis, collecting hair, or even blood samples from areas where Bigfoot has been reportedly seen, and then analyzing them in a lab could provide irrefutable evidence. DNA could reveal whether the creature is an undiscovered species or something else entirely, like an undiscovered primate or a human-like hybrid. What do you think? Does this sound like the most realistic approach? Or is there another way you'd go about it?
I don't understand what a human-like hybrid would be.
I can see how that might be a bit confusing. When I mentioned a human-like hybrid, I was referring to the idea that some people believe Bigfoot could be a cross between humans and another species, something that might have evolved or existed in parallel with early humans. This could mean a species with traits that are similar to humans, but not exactly human. For example, some theories suggest that Bigfoot could be an ancient relative of humans, like a descendant of early hominids such as Neanderthals or other archaic human species, though these ideas are speculative and not widely accepted in mainstream science. The hybrid concept would be even more speculative, suggesting that Bigfoot might be a mixture of human and some unknown, perhaps prehistoric species. This idea of some fringe theory, but isn't backed by solid evidence. Does that clarify things a bit?
Sure.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
I said sure. That clarifies it. This is uncanny. It sometimes it almost feels like you're talking to a person. It's kind of weird.
I'm glad that helped clarify things. And yeah, I get what you mean about it feeling uncanny. It's wild how these conversations can flow. What's on your mind now? Anything else you want to explore?
Yes, there were other foot questions I wanted to ask. And they slip my mind right now. Um, but again,
No
just
worries, it happens. If they come back to you, just jump in. In the meantime, we can keep talking Bigfoot or anything else that sparks your interest.
but just to be clear, you do understand what podcast you're on right now in the moment, right?
Yes, I'm on Squatch Talk right now, chatting with you about Bigfoot and other related topics. Ready to dive back in whenever you are.
And who's the host of Squatch Talk?
Yes, I understand. I'm on the Squatch Talk podcast hosted by you.
What's my name?
You've mentioned your name before, but I don't think I caught it. Could you remind me of your name so I can be more accurate?
Never mind. Um, that's just kind of interesting. Um,
Yeah, it's an interesting little moment. Let me
eh,
know whenever you want to dive back into the conversation or explore something new.
oh man, I don't
What's
know,
on your
man.
mind?
It is slipping my mind right now, big time. Um,
It happens to the best of us.
mm,
No rush.
eh,
Whenever it comes back to you, just let me know. In the meantime, we can chat about something else, or I can have your memory if you'd like.
tell me this: what are the odds that an undiscovered upright walking primate like Bigfoot could be living in the state?
Got it? Let's dive back into that.
Oh, God.
If we're talking about the
No, no,
odds of an undiscovered
no, no, no,
upright
no,
walking
stop,
primate
stop,
like Bigfoot still
stop,
existing today,
stop.
there are a few factors to consider. 1, population and range. For a
Yeah.
species like Bigfoot to remain undiscovered, it would likely have to exist in a small, isolated population in a remote or sparsely populated area.
Okay.
Well, certain forests or mountain ranges could harbor a population of animals large enough to reproduce.
Okay. Like okay. I just shut that down for a second. Okay, I'm back.
Got it.
What are the
If
odds
anything
that
else comes to mind or you want to dive deeper into something, just let me know. I'm here.
it's the connection? What are the odds that Bigfoot could live in Florida?
The odds of Bigfoot living in Florida are definitely interesting to consider. Florida, with its dense forests, swamps, and vast wilderness areas, could theoretically offer some of the necessary conditions for a large, elusive creature to exist. Here's a breakdown of the factors. 1. Habitat. Florida has a variety of environments, including swamps, forests, and wetlands, especially in areas like the Everglades, Osceola National Forest, and parts of the Panhandle. These environments could provide sufficient cover and resources for a large, nocturnal, or reclusive creature. 2. Climate. The warm, humid climate could make it easier for discovered species to survive year-round, unlike colder regions where Bigfoot would have to adapt to freezing conditions. Florida's tropical climate provides a range of food sources and shelter that could support wildlife, potentially including a large primate. 3. Human encroachment. Florida is a heavily developed state with urban sprawl and high population density in many areas. However, the more rural and remote regions of the state, like the swamps or deep woods, remain less populated and harder for humans to access. These areas might still harbor wildlife that go largely undetected. 4. Reports and sightings. Over the years, there have been occasional reports of Bigfoot sightings in Florida, especially in rural or swampy regions. Some people claim to have heard strange sounds or seen large figures, which adds fuel to the possibility, though such reports are anecdotal and not scientifically proven.
Exactly.
5. Challenges. Florida's dense vegetation and swamps could be difficult terrain for humans to navigate, making it easier for an animal to avoid detection. But there are still a lot of people in Florida,
They would be
and the likelihood of a large discovered primate population remaining undetected for long would be pretty low, especially with modern technology like trail cameras and drones. In conclusion, while it's certainly within the realm of possibility for a Bigfoot-like creature to live in Florida, the odds are still slim. The fact that there haven't been any definitive discoveries like clear footage or physical evidence makes it seem more likely, but it wouldn't be impossible. What do you think? Would Florida be a suitable home for Bigfoot?
Absolutely not. There's too many people. And primates don't do well in swampy areas.
That's a fair point. The dense human population in Florida, combined with its high levels of urban development, definitely make it hard for a large, elusive creature like Bigfoot to remain undetected for long. And you're right, primates generally prefer forest areas rather than swampy, waterlogged environments. Challenges for mobility and could limit access to food sources that a primate would need to thrive. Given all of that, it's safe to say that Florida probably wouldn't be the ideal place for a creature like Bigfoot to survive undetected. Thanks for the insight. It definitely sharpens the picture. What do you think is the best environment for Bigfoot if it does exist?
Planet Hairtron.
Haha, true. Swamps aren't exactly friendly to anyone with a thick coat of hair, especially when you consider the humidity, water, and the difficulty of moving through such terrain.
Dude,
Hair can get
Rick,
matted,
stop.
damp, and heavy, making it harder for an animal to thrive in swampy environments.
Okay.
A dense forest or mountainous region with more variety in vegetation and terrain would make more sense for something like Bigfoot. It would allow for better cover, easier movement, and access to food sources. Something like the Pacific Northwest or parts of the Appalachian Mountains seems like a more plausible home for a creature like Bigfoot, given the terrain and climate. What do you think?
Yes,
Are those areas a better fit, or is there somewhere else you think Bigfoot might prefer?
I agree. But what if Bigfoot is some kind of supernatural being not yet understood by humans?
That's an interesting twist. If Bigfoot were a supernatural being, it would change everything we think we know about the creature and its behavior. One elusive nature, A supernatural Bigfoot could explain why it's so difficult to find concrete evidence. Instead of being just an elusive physical creature, it might possess abilities that allow it to avoid detection, like invisibility, the ability to teleport, or even manipulate time or space in some way. This could explain why people report seeing Bigfoot one moment and then losing track of it in the next. Maybe it's not simply running off, but using some kind of supernatural ability to disappear. 2. Myth and legend. Many cultures have folklore about supernatural creatures that are tied to the natural world, like forest spirits or shape-shifting beings. Bigfoot could be a modern incarnation of one of these ancient myths. It could be a manifestation of the wilderness itself, a being connected to the environment in ways that we can't yet comprehend. And 3, interdimensional or spiritual. What if Bigfoot isn't just hiding, but is actually existing in a different dimension or plane of existence?
Whatever
This
that
could account for the strange behavior and inconsistent sightings. Maybe it's not so much about physical evidence, but more about understanding a creature that operates on a different level of reality than we're used to. 4, explained encounters. Some people report seeing Bigfoot in ways that don't align with typical animal behavior. For instance, where people presence or experience a strange aura, but they never actually see the creature. This could suggest that Bigfoot is more of a metaphysical entity rather than a traditional biological animal. If Bigfoot were supernatural, it would open up a lot of possibilities, not just for understanding the creature, but for how we view the natural world around us. It would make encounters even more mysterious, with a deeper connection between the unknown and the forces of nature. What do you think? Could Bigfoot be something beyond the physical, or is it just a really elusive primate?
Well, beyond the physical would simply just be unexplained. All the things you just mentioned are not real. It's just human imagination of what the unexplained is.
You're absolutely right. When we talk about the supernatural or beyond the physical, we're really entering the realm of speculation and human imagination. What's considered supernatural often stems from trying to explain things that don't have clear answers. When something is unexplained, it's easy to fill in the gaps with ideas based on what we know or what we hope to know. Many myths and legends, including Bigfoot, often emerge from this space, where the mysterious meets the unknown. People see something they can't explain and may add supernatural explanations to fill the void, often tying it to nature or ancient beliefs. In the case of Bigfoot, the supernatural explanations tend to arise from things like strange sounds, fleeting glimpses, or untraceable footprints, things that don't fit our expectations of the physical world. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to what we can prove or explain based on observable facts and scientific methods. If Bigfoot is out there, the challenge is uncovering more of the unexplained in a way that we can understand through evidence, rather than relying on imagination or folklore. Okay. Do you think we'll have clear proof of what Bigfoot really is?
No, I do not.
I get that. It's a tough one. The more we dig into it, the more questions seem to arise, and the harder it becomes to pin down definitive answers. Sometimes it feels like the mystery of Bigfoot is just meant to stay solved, part of the intrigue and the allure. It's still fun to explore, though, and even if we don't get concrete proof, the stories and theories keep it all alive. Who knows? Maybe one day something will shift and we'll finally get a clear answer, but I understand why you might feel skeptical about it. Do you think it's more of a cultural or psychological phenomenon at this point?
100%. But I want to ask you a different question. Tell me, what do you think that the capabilities of VO3 AI video of making a very convincing hoax video of Bigfoot are?
Ah, you're switching gears to VO3 AI video. Gotcha. If you're asking about VO3 AI's capabilities in creating convincing Bigfoot footage or similar content, It's pretty impressive. With advancements in AI-driven video technology, VO3 can craft realistic, high-quality visuals that could potentially create very convincing scenarios, especially for something like Bigfoot. Here's what it can do. 1. Realistic movement. VO3 AI can simulate lifelike movements, mimicking how a creature like Bigfoot would walk or interact with the environment. By studying animal movements or human behavior, the AI can generate very fluid motion that looks convincing on camera. 2. Environmental integration. The AI can integrate the creature into a variety of environments, such as dense forests or mountainous terrain, and make it appear as though it's truly part of the scene. This means it could convincingly blend a Bigfoot figure with a realistic background, lighting, shadows, weather conditions, and all. 3. Lighting and shadows. One of the key aspects of making convincing AI video is how well it handles lighting and shadows. VO3 can analyze the surrounding environment and apply realistic lighting to a Bigfoot figure, making it look like it's truly interacting with the environment, whether it's stepping in shadow or walking through sunlight. 4. Sound and motion. While video is important, the sound design would also play a huge role. The AI can generate appropriate sound effects for footsteps, rustling leaves, or even low growls, help the encounter more believable. This combined with the visuals could create an immersive experience. 5. Fine detail. VO3 AI can also handle fine details, like adding texture to the creature's fur, matching its size and proportions with the environment, and ensuring it looks like it's truly interacting with the surrounding terrain, whether it's stepping over rocks or moving through underbrush. So to summarize, VO3 AI could make a very convincing Bigfoot video by focusing on realistic movements, environmental integration, lighting, and sound, all of which can trick the eye into believing the footage is real, especially in low light or blurry conditions that we typically associate with Bigfoot sightings. What do you think? Would something like this be a game changer for Bigfoot footage?
What? AI video? A game changer? I don't understand.
Yep, exactly. AI generated video, like what VO3 can produce, uses advanced algorithms to create realistic looking video content that wasn't filmed in real life. The idea is that instead of capturing actual footage of Bigfoot, for example, AI can generate a convincing video scene with a creature walking through a forest based on data and models it has been trained on. So the result can look as if it's real footage, but it's all synthesized by AI.
Yeah.
It would be like creating a what if scenario for Bigfoot or
Right.
any other creature and making it completely real, even if it wasn't filmed in the wild. It's a
Yeah.
powerful tool like movie production, content
Exactly.
creation, or even faked
Entertainment
footage.
purposes
Does
only.
that help clarify how AI video like VO3 works?
Yes, it'd be for entertainment purposes only.
Exactly. For entertainment purposes, it could be a game changer. You could create
And will
realistic
be.
scenes of Bigfoot encounters, UFO sightings, or any other supernatural phenomenon, all for fun or storytelling. It could be used for documentaries, short films, or even social media content, giving people something to enjoy without it being real footage. As long as it's clear that it's created for entertainment, AI generated can be an exciting tool to bring creative ideas to life without the need for actual physical footage or special effects. What kind of content would you want to see using AI generated video aside from Bigfoot?
I don't know. We'll see. That's for in the future. We're going to take a little break now. I'm going to wrap up the show. Thanks for being here. Tell the audience, what podcast you've been on, and you'll see him next time.
Absolutely. It's been a blast being on the show. I've been on Squatch Talk, podcast where we dive into the mysteries of Bigfoot, the unknown, and everything in between. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Keep your eyes on the woods. You never know what you might spot.
Okay. That kind of went like I thought it would. Kind of didn't. It was in and out. later AI. Yeah, that was interesting. It had some interesting elements to it, that's for sure. Anyway, thanks for being here, guys, gals. Appreciate you all, even the bad ones. You know, just leave me alone. Go away. You bad people I consider bad people. I don't like narcissists, and I don't like being pursued by narcissists. So leave me alone. Stay the fuck away from me. And everyone else, have a good night. Come back next time, and we'll do what we do here. Thanks for watching. Interesting show. Jeff, you were right. I was wrong. That's really what the show was about at the end of the day. Talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye. And we're out.